challenges Vienna, Austria, Europe, America, and the entire world. In Europe, electronic waste, or e-waste, is growing 3 times faster than other waste. In Vienna, experts from all over the world gathered to discuss recent European Union laws and directives designed to deal with e-waste, learn what they mean for both industry and consumers, and to hear what additional laws are being considered. The first 2 directives became law in 2003, setting collection, recycling, and recovery targets for electronics in 2003. One is called WEEE, or Waste and Electrical and Electronic Equipment. WEEE demands that companies that want to sell products in Europe find a way to take back the products when they reach the end of their lives. The other is called ROS, or Reduction on the Use of Certain Hazardous Substances.
ROS is, in theory, quite simple. It's the removal, it's basically the removal or substitution of fixed hazardous materials, including lead and cadmium, from a product, down to a certain percentage level.
WEEE is one strategy to remedy problems like this, the dumping of e-waste in underdeveloped countries, where it's then taken apart under conditions that expose everyone, including women and children, to toxic materials that are harmful to human health. While many European countries have a history of recycling, these directives bring recycling to a new level. Campaign billboards on the sides of garbage trucks remind people that small electronics, even though they fit in the garbage, don't belong in the garbage. Instead, they belong here, a recycling facility. Rainier Kronberger with the city of Vienna shows us around a standard recycling facility outfitted to also recycle e-waste. It accepts all kinds of material, from motor oil to medicine. He says they see all sorts of e-waste.
In terms of electronics, we see refrigerators, monitors, TV screens, small electronic devices like computers, printers, mobile phones.
This boy is helping his father recycle. Kronberger says the WEEE regulations have encouraged people to recycle.
It's free of charge to bring the electronics to our places, to our recycling centers. And this means that the amounts that we are collecting are increasing.
He says consumers are willing to bring in the large things, but they're less likely to properly recycle small things like cell phones.
We have to focus especially on this section, on this category, on the small devices that go to.
Many of the residents of Vienna know that e-waste must be handled properly, but some are unsure how.
Ich würde gerne von dir wissen, was du mit einem Eitencomputer machen würdest, außer in Japan.
Eine gute Antwort. Ich habe jetzt, glaube ich, 5 Jahre im Keller stehen lassen. Und ja.
Informing and involving consumers is critical for successful implementation of WEEE and ROS. And experts agree that a big issue is educating the consumer to recycle and making it easy for them.
They can make a decision on whether they would put it in a system where it's treated in a good way, or if they throw it away somewhere not to be handled correctly. So they are a major player actually.
WEEE makes it the manufacturer's responsibility to take back equipment. But there's sharp debate over the details. Should it be an industry-wide responsibility, or should individual companies take back only their own products? A concept called individual producer responsibility. And how hard should manufacturers have to work to make this happen?
Individual producer responsibility is not the responsibility of waste collection. Individual responsibility does not include full responsibility for informing consumers about environmental behavior in general, which is wider than the environmental consequences of the disposal of the product.
While producers may not want individual producer responsibility, others point out that if companies have to disassemble their products, they'll design ways to make disassembly easier and safer.
Those companies that are making design changes to make their products toxic, easier to disassemble, easier to recycle, would benefit from individual producer responsibility because they will get back their own brand products.
And it, of course, is a tool that shifts the responsibility from the very end of the product to design.
Why worry about design if recycling laws are getting stronger? In Europe, modern facilities are turning landfills into profits, mining them for both precious and industrial metals. But elsewhere, recycling is much more primitive.
There's quite a bit of so-called recycling channels, which in reality are more kind of back-end operations, not operating due to proper standards. And if you recycle the wrong way, you can have a lot of air pollution in the dioxide, so again you can put a very metal sense onto the environment.
The Ross Directive addresses that by also shifting the problems back to the designers and engineers. It calls for the near elimination of lead, mercury, cadmium, hexavalent chromium, and 3 types of brominated flame retardants.
If you are able to manufacture products which don't contain mercury, for example laptops without a mercury backlight panel, this would have a big positive impact on the recycling industry because you can use much easier processes